about what are alternatives to using fake meat because I'm worried about the sodium in soy in products like fake chicken and meat. So my answer to this is that those products do have preservatives. So there are preservatives in those products. So they're not always, right, the healthiest products that you could have, especially if you're somebody that wants to be whole food plant-based. But a lot of those products are a good transition between going eating a regular American diet to a full whole food plant-based diet. So they are a good transition, those fake meat products. But what can I say? What alternatives are helpful, or what alternatives that I can give you are a few things that I think would be better, are tofu and tempeh, which are both soy products, but tofu and tempeh are good products, or something that you can, alternatives that you can use, and also jackfruit. So if you have not heard of jackfruit, jackfruit's also a great one because jackfruit has that meaty texture, even though it's a fruit. It's also often marinated, and you can use it just like you would, meat, like in beef, like in stir fry or something, for example. So those are some options. I do think the tofu and tempeh are, more whole food, even though they are soy-based. But as I said, another alternative to have more meaty flavor but not soy would be jackfruit. That would be an option. So my second question is, what should you do if you're super active but are not hungry enough to eat enough? This is also a very good question, right? Because it can be very hard to eat the calorie intake that you need to eat when you are really active. It can be really hard to get that much calories, especially if you're plant-based, right? Because eating the amount of protein can be very difficult for a lot of people because the volume of food is so high. You're welcome, girl. So what should you do? So my opinion, or my suggestion would be to try to eat small meals or snacks throughout the day. So they don't even have to really be meals. They can also be snacks. So maybe just a more high calorie snack. So maybe trail mix, or maybe add nut butter. So maybe a banana with nut butter, right? Because those nut butters, trail mix, your nuts are going, your healthy fats are going to be higher in calories, right? So choosing, I think, high calorie snacks is very can be very helpful to try to get to that calorie intake, and also eating often throughout the day can really help if you are struggling to eat a high volume of food all at once. It can help to spread it out throughout the day, and you may feel like you are eating a lot or that you're eating all the time. But if that's what you have to do to get them out, to get to your calorie intake in order for you to fuel for your workouts and your runs and your active lifestyle, then it is so worth it, right? Because it'll just help you to not only maintain your weight, but also give you that energy that you need, especially if you're looking for performance. So I hope that answered that question. And do I have any other questions while I'm live tonight? I am open to answering any of your questions, but those are just a couple of questions I had that I wanted to make sure that I answered tonight. But if you have any questions and you're joining me, let me know and I will answer them on the spot since I am live. And I don't know if I actually introduced myself, and I think a lot of you have been following me for a while, so you probably know who I am, but my name's Kayla. Hey! And I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm an online nutrition coach for plant-based performance athletes. So that is who I work with and what I do. Mainly focused on. So if you have any questions related to plant-based performance nutrition, I'd love to answer them. Oh, yay! What do you think about protein powder? That is a great question. I love that you asked this. Thank you so much. So protein powder. So let's see, we'll start with what it means to be whole food plant-based. if you are whole food plant-based, then what that means is that you eat foods in their whole form. So that would mean you wouldn't take protein powders. It would mean that you don't do smoothies, right? It would mean that you would only eat food in their whole form. No processed foods, right? So that is what whole food plant-based is. But I do feel for people that are more active and, are doing endurance events, that a protein powder would be a good option, even though it's not considered in your whole food plant-based. I think it's important to consider as somebody that's so active, and if you are doing an endurance event, because protein powder could be your best option, and there are plant-based protein powders out there. So for example, if you are doing say you're doing an ultra marathon and you finish, right? And you need protein, and you go to the end of the race, right? You're at the end of the race. There's usually a bunch of food, a bunch of stuff that you can eat, right? Lots of food, but there's nothing that has protein in it, right? That's plant protein. Well, what are you going to do? Because you need to get protein before within that 30-60 minute window, right? And maybe you don't have time to go eat right away, or maybe you're not even hungry right away. I know for myself as a runner, especially when I race, like after a long race, an endurance run, I don't feel hungry right after I run. It can take hours for it to kick in, but I know I need to make sure I get that protein and those carbs in. So ideally after I run, you want to have a ratio of 4 grams of carbohydrates to 1 gram of protein. And this is what makes chocolate milk such a popular post-workout drink, right? But unfortunately, we don't, as someone that's plant-based, right, you don't have really that option to drink chocolate milk, right, because it has dairy. So, for protein powders, to shorten my answer up, I would say, I would always say, whole foods first as much as you possibly can. But when it comes to sports nutrition and fueling, if, protein powder is the best option that you have to be able to get that protein, then I would say do that and go for it. But on your day-to-day life, taking a protein powder, I would just encourage you to think about, can I plan a little bit better, to have, like, if they work out in the morning and want to have my protein shake, is there something else I could grab instead of always having that protein shake every morning that would be more closer to whole food plant-based, right? And not saying that is like the best diet to be if you're not whole food plant-based, and that's not your values, and then that's okay, right? But I do feel that it's helpful to have these protein powders out there, but I would also just, I guess, in short answer, encourage you to try some other options for protein. So something really popular that sticks out in my mind, and actually for the morning, if you work out in the morning and want a post-workout high protein meal, would be tofu scramble. If you have not tried tofu scramble, super easy, so good. It looks just like eggs. No one would even know that is actually tofu. So yes, and you're welcome. Thank you for that question. That was a really good question. Sorry, that was a little bit long, but hopefully that answered your question. Yay! Do you have any more questions tonight? These are great questions. I love it. So awesome. Yay! All right. Cool. All right. I think I got through everyone's questions. I don't see any other questions coming in right now, so I will hop off. But thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate it so very much, and I hope to talk to you guys all soon. Bye.